The prerequisites for wisdom. Lord Buddha taught the Dharma solely for our sake. By the time of his parinibbana, countless disciples had illuminated their lives through his marvelous wisdom. The Blessed One was extremely skillful in helping others realize the Dharma in the same way that he had realized it. As a result, many of his disciples attained full enlightenment themselves. We call these beings arahants. Those arahants, having reaped the full benefits of the Dharma, had immense confidence in the Dharma and treated it with utmost respect. Genuine disciples. After the passing away of the Lord Buddha, the great Arahants, led by Arahant Mahakashapa, went straight to the city of Rajagaha for the purpose of safeguarding the teachings, the Dharma, and the disciple proclaimed by the Blessed One. Although there were plenty of means available at the time to write down the Dharma, they considered it disrespectful to do so. They determined that the Dharma should be held within one's heart. After reciting the Dharma and disciple at the first Sangha Council, Sanghayana, the great Arahants passed on to the next generation of peoples the monumental task of protecting the Dharma from destruction. In Sri Lanka, Arahant Mahinda trained Sri Lankan monks using the same oral tradition. The monks more compelled to record the Dharma in writing only under the most adverse circumstances when their own lives were at stake. Acting with foresight. For the first time in the world, the Dharma was recorded in writing in Sri Lanka with the sole intention of protecting this rare treasure for future generations. It was a time of severe famine that when monks did not have sufficient strength to commit the Dharma to memory. With immense respect for the Dharma, the noble monks came to coastal area and committed the Dharma to memory while surviving on the foliage of certain shrubs growing by the seaside. Their efforts were a resounding success, giving us the gift of the sublime Dharma today. Although Lord Buddha is not physically alive among us today, we can feel his presence through his Dharma. The path to Nibbana is clearly recorded in the discourses. The Dharma is alive and well in the fullness of the discourses. However, the biggest shortcoming we have today is that many people do not possess knowledge of the original words of Lord Buddha. As a result, they put forward their own views in place of the Dharma. They describe the Dharma according to their own preferred interpretations. This reveals their lack of respect and confidence in the Dharma. Some groups do not like others to obtain a clear understanding of the Dharma. It is possible to manipulate society freely as long as ignorance of the Dharma prevails. In contrast, it is not easy to mislead those who have a good knowledge of the original words of Lord Buddha recorded in the Pali Canon. That is the why obstacles are placed to hinder the acquisition of Dharma knowledge. This is the moment. We still have some ability to understand the true nature of life. Therefore, we have not fallen victim to the unfortunate fate of being misled by others. We are fortunate to have been born as human beings as a result of our past meritorious deeds. Now we possess intelligence and the ability to think well and distinguish between truth and falsehood. Let us develop the mental ability as much as possible. This is called wise consideration, yoniso manasikara, thinking in line with Dharma. It is essential to understanding the Dharma. Wise consideration means directing one's thinking for the purpose of realizing the Dharma. The person who possesses this ability is like the tongue that is sensitive to the flavor of the food. The immaculate Dharma, one who has the ability to think wisely, needs to hear Lord Buddha's original discourses. These discourses contain clear words devoid of distorted meanings. When the meanings of words are distorted, the Dharma becomes distorted as well. When the Dharma words are not clearly interpreted, the Dharma gets distorted. As a result, the distorted Dharma leads to arguments and debates instead of creating understanding. Lord Buddha's Dharma contains clear instructions for realizing the Four Noble Truths in this very life. The noble truth of suffering must be realized. The noble truth of the origin of suffering must be eradicated. The noble truth of the cessation of suffering must be attained. The noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering must be developed. An understanding of these four noble truths gives us right view. Right view does not occur spontaneously. Two factors are needed to gain right view. One must get the opportunity to hear the Dharma that describes the Four Noble Truths, and one must develop wise consideration in line with the Dharma. The Dharma and wise consideration. After hearing the Dharma, one must engage in wise consideration, thinking in line with the Dharma. The Dharma that one listens must clearly explain the Four Noble Truths. We should rejoice over having a good fortune to study the Lord Buddha's Dharma in its original form, even after 26 centuries. We should study this sublime Dharma with immense respect and confidence. Dharma has the power to transform human life and bring complete liberation. We should study the Dharma until we retain it well in our mind. We should not seek refuge in our own intelligence. We should be aware of people who distort the path to Nirvana by saying that seeking refuge in the Lord Buddha means seeking refuge in one's own intelligence. By saying this, they misinterpret the word of Lord Buddha as their own knowledge. With this misunderstanding, one may reject Lord Buddha and disregard the guidance of the Blessed One. We should protect ourselves by listening only to the authentic Dharma. Confidence arises when one studies the Dharma with great respect and thinks, millions of people have achieved liberation through this noble Dharma. When the desire arises to retain Dharma in one's own mind,